Roll call. Tom Barney
Here.
is here. Ray Borden.
Here.
And Michael Oath is here. Okay, item 3, agenda revision and approval.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion by Tom, second by Ray. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Approved minutes of August 9th, 2021, meeting date.
Motion to approve minutes from August 9th, 2021.
Second.
Okay, motion by Tom, second by Ray. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Item 5, consent review and discuss August vouchers. I know there's a couple questions. Brittany.
Yep, we did get a couple questions, so I'll be going through. I'm going to jump around a little bit just because I have Don Erickson here, so if there's questions on this first one, he will be able to answer it. So the first question was in regards to the vendor audio engineering building at the KMS, or the middle school, for the clock replacement. It was for $3,500, and it came out of the capital projects fund. That is on the approved capital projects list. We have stages that we will be replacing the digital clocks. Over a period of time, the digital clocks don't work. Per Don, those were installed in 1998. So we are replacing them in phases. So the middle school has 3 to 4 phases, and then the high school has, or the middle school, excuse me, has 5 phases, and then the high school has 3 to 4 phases in which we will be replacing the clocks.
Okay.
If there's any questions, Don can answer further questions on those.
Hey, Don, how long are the next set of clocks going to last?
They should last 20 years or so plus. The biggest issue we have with them right now is we can't buy the clocks anymore. So as you notice, this type of a clock, you see the numbers, and but if one of those LEDs go out, then that clock no longer is functional and we can't replace the clock. Part of the replacement plan, though, is that we're going to keep all the functioning clocks still and be able to use those as the other ones burn out in the process of the project.
Okay, very good.
Okay, thank you. The next question that we had regarding the vendor Micro Focus software, there was 2 different POs for this. The first one was for $14,836.50. This is for a renewal of our ZenWorks. ZenWorks, per our technology department, is a computer management software. They are able to use this software to push out applications and programs to everyone throughout the district. Instead of having to come up to our computers to install a program, they can use this program to push it out to the computers throughout the district. And then the other one was the same vendor for $11,460, and this is for the SaaS, which I'm surprised Mike didn't ask me what the it meant. It meant software as a service. It holds our emails and other archiving for up to 7 years. We have to hold our information up to a 7-year period, and for instance, like Google doesn't hold emails that long. So this software, I don't know if it's a server, does that and holds and retains our information for us.
Yeah, by the way, looking at their website, I don't think SaaS was defined very well on their website either. So it was kind of hard to tell, what this software was for, just looking at their website in general.
And both of these are things that we've had. They're the annual renewal.
Okay.
They're not new.
Okay, thank you.
I had a few other questions. One of them was regarding, on page 31, Dude Solutions. There was again 2 different purchase orders. One was for $6,442. This is for our Maintenance Essential Pro, which is a software that we already currently have, so it's the annual and renewal again. And it is for our maintenance work orders, as well as our PM software, so to make sure that we're changing out filters and doing all the preventative maintenance on our equipment throughout the district. And then the other one for $3,808 is an Event Manager Premium. That is for a program or a software that we are using now to do our facility usage. It's not up and running yet. This is the initial cost for it. This is so when outside vendor wants to use our facility, they don't have to fill out the paper form. They would go online onto this system. They'd create an account. They'd be able to see all the places that they can rent. The dollars would be attached to them, and it's all electronically instead of emails going back and forth and paper copies going back and forth. So that is hopefully to be rolled out by November 1st. Excuse me, there was another question. West Bend Mutual Project search. It's actually a check or an invoice for West Bend School District. West Bend School District has a program called Project Search. The program is for students to be able to work out into the world, so special ed students to be able to go into a company. This company is West Bend Mutual Insurance, and they get to work there. So our district pays quote-unquote tuition to West Bend School District, so our student can experience that experience. So that is the first installment of the $4,750, and that came out of flow-through federal grant dollars. Are there any more questions or follow-ups on those two?
Does the student get paid for doing that work? No. Okay.
And then the last two questions I had, one was regarding, I was involved in this one. So Don is still here, so he might be able to help me answer this one. But Joe DeBellick, thank you. DeBellick from Plumbing and Heating Company. There was a rock in one of our sinks or pipes. Our maintenance department tried to remove it. We were unable to remove it. From what Don explains to me, and he can answer this question in more detail, that the rock must have came from the roof and dropped into the piping. And it was so far under the ground that we could not get to it, so the ground or the floor had to be removed. You had to go get the rock, and then it had to be put back in. And I believe you spoke about it at your last building committee, correct? So it wasn't, from what we understand, unless a student was up on the roof, it wasn't one of our students that was inside the building. And then the last question we had was regarding a purchase order for $29,940 for Technology Resources Advisors. This was for 30 HP Elite books, kind of like laptops or Chromebooks. They replaced the 75 desktops that we had in the library, and we are able to use library funds or common school federal funds to purchase these because they're housed in the library and students can sign them out. They are different than a regular Chromebook, so they're mostly used from our art students because there's more applications on these kind of devices. Other than that, I believe I answered everybody's questions unless you have other ones.
I can't think of anything. I'll
I'll
take
make a motion to consent to payment vouchers as presented and reviewed.
Second.
Okay, motion by Tom, second by Ray. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Item 6, reports and updates, there are none. And item 7, unfinished business. 7A, existing debt cost savings restructure.
Sure, I have Mike Clark with Robert W. Baird here. He was at our April 26th Finance Committee meeting, and he spoke about possible refinance or restructure of our referendum debt to increase state aid and reduce interest rates. So he is here to go over the next option and the process we've been going through.
Mike, welcome.
Nice to see you again. We've been working the last few months. As I indicated, I was at the Finance Committee and I was at a board meeting. We talked about this, that this is something new. We have the district auditor. We have bond counsel all in agreement. The Department of Public Instruction has not taken a position. We've had several contacts with them. They're not saying we can do what we want. They're not saying we can't do what we want. They've asked for some analysis on our part on why we think we should. We've had several conversations with them, and we're looking for them for guidance, but they're, at this point, reluctant to give us any guidance in terms of the refinancing. So we've made some tweaks to the original structure. It's something we'd done, I think I'd mentioned this in Pewaukee, which yields still very significant benefits to the taxpayers of the district, but just not quite to the same level that we originally hoped. We're still pursuing things with DPI, but at this point, I think moving forward the other structure, or at least having those conversations, is something we're going to turn our attention to. It still is aid savings as well as interest savings. Both benefit taxpayer, taking advantage of the 15% hold harmless. It shortens debt, and I know in this write-up, we're working off an analysis, but I just received something this afternoon tweaking the structure a little bit where we actually would be looking to pay the debt off possibly up to 3 years early and increase the aid savings. I know in the write-up we indicated about $40 million of aid savings to the district, which is down considerably from what we originally looked at, but again, without the clear direction from DPI, we're reluctant to go forward because we don't want the district to put something in place and then have DPI kind of weigh in that works against the district. So still, the interest rate environment is very good. This does simplify things. I know the last time I was here we talked about a separate account and escrow agents and different things. This would require none of that, which actually, from a management of the refinancing issue, would be much simpler. And I think in the maybe next board meeting or something, we'll be able to provide a little bit more clarity on exactly what. We're waiting for some information. On October 1st, the district will be getting its actual valuation number, and then on October 15th, we'll get the aid number. The aid number is a little more difficult to kind of project right now because districts are kind of all over the board in terms of expenditures, whether they were virtual, whether in person, blended. We have districts spending lots of money. We have districts underspending significantly. So projecting aid, so I think waiting to that October 15th number. If you just want to go, I had a couple slides. Oh, stop here, please. This is where the district is at. We updated the aid number based on the July 1 estimate. Your percentage was negative 45% last year. It's negative 37%. I don't think it's going to be that low at this point. I think you're going to be somewhere in that 40 range once all the dust settles, when the actual numbers come in. But if you look at the middle column, the estimated state aid impact on your existing debt as you're currently paying, we're projecting you're going to lose aid about $44.9 million. If you advance one slide, or sorry for the small numbers.
So for the board members that have the document in your packet, we are looking at, are you looking at the before financing?
The before on the left-hand
Correct,
side.
on the left-hand side of your handout.
Yeah, I broke it into two for the slide, just so try to make it a little bit more legible for. And then, so this is the right-hand 2/3 of that single page that you received in your packet. And under that estimated state aid impact, if you just could page down just a little bit. I'm sorry, just on that same slide. Yeah. You'll see that the negative aid impact is $558,000. So that's where the over $40 million savings comes in, because you can see, as opposed to the previous one where you're losing, and again, these are expenses, so positive numbers are expense, the negative number is the savings. Here, every other year, it's expense, savings. In the other one, it was an expense of roughly $2.7 million every year. And that's where the significant savings, and we're still projecting $2.4 million of interest savings on this, with this structure as well. So going forward, I think what we're going to pursue is we're going to look at some different structures. I have a couple options to share with the district this week yet. I just saw the first go around on those, and they look better than this. And we'll start having conversations looking at possibly which credit rating agency to move forward with, because obviously the district has had some ratings challenges the last couple of years that we want to determine which the best route is there. Still work with bond counsel. We will continue to have conversations with DPI, but this structure is something we've done before. The savings just aren't quite at the same level, but I think it's still, when you look at the benefit to the taxpayer of over 40, and I think we could probably get close to $50 million over the remainder life of the debt. That's unheard of in terms of savings, any sort of refinancing we've ever done. So we're
very
still in
good.
a good group.
It's very good.
It is, and it's all, again, it's all taxpayer savings. This isn't dollars the district can redirect for any other purpose, because we're dealing with referendum debt. So we're still hopeful maybe the other one comes about, but I think at this point, given their reluctance and knowing we have something we know we can do and is simpler for the district to manage, we're going to pursue this one going forward. So with that, I'll stop because I know you have a busy agenda and a busy night. So any questions? But we just wanted to kind of update you that I haven't been in front of you for a while, but we've been spending a lot of time on this. It still looks good, maybe not quite what we had hoped originally, but I think it's still going to be some very good news for the district. So,
Yeah, it's very good. So for everyone at home, Mike Clark of Baird, thank you for all your work. And Brittany, thank you for working on this also. I know you've been very busy the last 2 weeks also with various items. So it's good news, you know, even though the numbers are a little different than back in April. We're not going to kick you out the door. You're doing very well.
yeah, we appreciate that. We were a little surprised given DPI's lack of willingness to give guidance, because that's kind of one of their roles, but we're still in a very good spot.
Right, okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
I don't think that was me. Okay, that was a report only. Okay, we're on to item 8A, monthly purchase requests exceeding $15,000. So we're on 8A sub A. And it's, first item is paper purchases.
Sure. Tonight I'm bringing in front of the committee and then the full board later on this evening for the 2021-2022 paper bid. In the business office, we look at what the paper consumption was the previous year. We look at what is left over from the purchase we made the previous year, and then we go out for bid based on all that information. This year, different than previous years, is we are not bidding out white paper. Or, sorry, that would be funny, wouldn't it? We are not bidding out colored paper. We are just bidding out white paper this year because we had enough colored paper that we did not need to go out for bid or purchase it this year. So we did send it out to 4 vendors, which you see on your packet, Costco, Veritiv, Contract Paper Group, and then Midland Paper. Last year, we did go with Contract Paper Group. We did spend a total of $22,711 last year. We are asking for not to exceed of $24,024 for this current year, and to continue with Contract Paper Group. That does not mean that we are going to spend that much. That just means the max that we could spend that we're asking the committee for.
Okay, very good. Tom?
In 2018, we purchased 600 cases of white. In 2019, 600 cases of white. Last year, 600 cases of white. And last year, I pointed out, okay, we have one-to-one devices, 5th through 12th grade. Mm-hmm. Why are we not cutting down the amount of paper that we're using? And this year, we're buying even more cases of white.
You are correct.
Okay, so why aren't we cutting down the amount of paper that we're buying if almost every student has a device that they can receive whatever that content is digitally?
I don't know that answer, why we're not reducing the paper. I think that will be a conversation that we'll have to have, and I'll work with Justin Baumgartner and technology to see if we can We rolled out minimal things, that you'll get questioned if you don't do double-sided, copies, that you'll get questioned if you do high quantities, you have to click, yes, I'm sure that I want 400 of these. So we've done minimal things like that, but I think there's other things that we can roll out. I know that last year, Mark Gabrisiak came and we did some type of a paper report, so I think that's just something that I'll have to work with Justin on now that he's in that area.
And I can appreciate that there's things that we can do, but this is several years in a row now, it seems like that nothing's being done.
Right.
Does it take us not approving a paper purchase for that to start?
I mean, you're talking 240 additional cases at $30 a piece.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money from the last 3 years.
I mean, in previous years, it was brought, a half a year was brought to the board because it hit the, and then we would buy more. So in previous years, you were getting 6 months, and then you might have not known that the other 6 months existed. So we could have purchased more paper in previous years. So moving forward, since I've been here, I brought you the whole year, so you're aware, instead of knowing that this one exceeded the 15,000, and previous years, the last 6 months didn't exceed the 15th, so that wasn't brought back to you. So this is the full year. Why it hasn't gone down is a question or an answer that I don't know, but we don't have to approve the max 24,000 if you don't want it this time, and we can bring it back again later, but that's what we're asking for tonight.
Or are we getting a better price if we're buying 840 cases now versus maybe we only approve 400?
I think the price stays the same. The 2860?
Right.
If you just do the 600 cases, as we've done previous years, it's only $16,820.
That's a bit of savings.
I think we could use a report out on where the paper usage is. I'll just take a guess. It's an awful lot of handouts, and maybe most tests and exams are still on plain white paper. I'm not sure if we're to the point where we can start doing tests electronically. You know, if we're on the one-to-one Chromebooks, for example, that might be something that could be reported out also. But yeah, I'd like to see paper usage decline rather than increase. So even though everyone knows that I service the paper industry, not 100%, but you know, a certain percentage of my work, and I always say I like paper. I actually do not carry any paper manuals with me at work. Every manual I have is on my computer, and no more paper. I don't even have a paper copy at my desk of anything. So I do think it's time for the district to start making use of electronic methods. And you know, it's not on you necessarily, Brittany, but I do think we need to have Justin, you know, come and report out to us because handouts, I believe, can be done electronically also. They don't have to be paper printouts.
Okay.
So we have to start somewhere. So I'll take a motion, whatever you're punching on your phone there, Tom.
Well, I don't know, I guess I'd rather not buy any, just to force the issue, because it seems like we're not making any progress.
I think just, I mean, if I understood what you were saying, Brittany, is that let's take 2 years ago, they spent $22,000 on a paper order, and that lasted only until March or something. And then the district went out and bought another X number of cases for, let's say, $14,000, and it didn't make its way to the school board. So they didn't know you actually bought, or the district had to buy more paper because that amount didn't get you through the whole year. But you're saying this amount is what we used to originally buy the first order, and this will get us through the school year.
Yeah, it's like 17,000.
Correct. This will get us through the school year, and we're basing it off of what we have left from last year. And I don't know if there were more copies last year or the year before due to students being at home. I don't know that answer. I'm sure not this much. So, but this is the total for the entire year, which I don't believe you've seen in the past.
Right, and I,
Well, last year, you brought it forward and said this should be the one for the whole year.
And it was.
And the motion was, there will be no more paper purchases unless it comes to the board.
Correct, so we didn't, so when we brought it last year, we said this is the amount for the whole year, and if we run out, we run out, and I'm not gonna come back and ask for more for last year, you're right. So, this is the amount for this year. I mean, we can approve a dollar amount and we can buy the first, I don't know if they come in truckload, or we cannot, but then we'd have to go out for bid again because they're only bidding for a short period of time.
Well, what are you thinking?
All right, I'll make a motion to bring forward to the Board of Education with a positive recommendation to award the 2021-2022 paper bid purchase to Contract Paper Group in an amount not to exceed $17,160 and charge to the appropriate accounts across the entire district budget.
17,160?
Correct.
Okay.
And what's the number of cases, Tom?
600.
Okay.
And then we will just have to change the motion as well at the board meeting for the same dollar amount, so I wrote it down.
Right, I've got it written down. Okay, so I don't know what it's going to be, handouts electronically or whatever the case may be, but let's see what Justin can figure out and possibly report out to us, and we'll go from there.
So we'll try to report, I don't know what it's all gonna entail for Justin, but we'll try to do the same type of thing that we did with Mark Gabriziak to give us like a baseline report maybe next month, and then we'll work on the solutions moving forward to not go over the $17,160 amount.
All right, thank you.
did you want a second, Mike?
I'll take a second.
I'll give you that second.
Thanks for the reminder, Ray. Tom, second by Ray. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. All right, next item is 8A sub B, and this is line of credit with JP Morgan Chase Bank.
Correct. I'm coming to the Finance Committee tonight, and I will be coming to the full board for approval on September 27th because we are still working with legal on the correct verbiage, so it is not going to the board tonight. It would be for a line of credit for our short-term cash flow, and we will need it starting at the beginning of October, so that's why it has to come to committee and board in September. Just so you know, last year we approved a max of $12 million. This year we're coming to the board for $10 million, and we don't think we're going to go above the $9 million. So there's some things that we've changed around, and we increasing our fund balance has helped, not having to borrow as much money. And hopefully as the years go on, we see that reduce. And we also believe the interest rate that I have quoted here will be a lot less. So, but those actual final numbers will come to the board on September 27th for approval.
Okay, very good. So nothing on this for tonight. Maybe.
There will be a motion to go to the board for tonight, but it will go to the board meeting on September 27th because otherwise I would have to have another finance committee on the 27th to bring it to the board.
So what's here to bring forward with a positive motion? We should do that for the full board? Okay.
I bring forward to the Board of Education the positive recommendation to approve the use of line of credit with JP Morgan Chase Bank in the amount not to exceed $10 million for cash flow purposes.
Second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion by Ray, second by Tom. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. And one more motion, I believe.
Move adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion by Tom, second by Ray. We are adjourned at 6:59.